I'm going to walk away from this now before I put a hammer straight through its bonnet. So, we have spent a good part of the day getting this bonnet to fit. Still doesn't fit quite right, but any adjustments I make on the hinges will just change again when we take it off and paint it. And maybe I'll leave the last little fettling bits to the expert, to Max. But what does happen is it shuts. We had to make a little clearance for the intake here. And then we had some alignment issues and realised it had gone loose on the hinges, so button that up, we're all good. We had to take a little bit more off this bolt here. Not quite sure what to replace it with yet, but we'll work that out in good time. It does clear everything else pretty much. I hope so. It does shut, which is nice. Everything is very close now, for some reason. But our next simple task, or I thought was a simple task, is to fit the bonnet straps. Bonnet straps, they have little metal clasp bits that look fancy. I think it might even be like 1/2 mil aluminium, but it's there. So what people do with them is they fit them on the corners, because that's the only place you can kind of get in. I've made sure there was clearance in this area to do that with. And then Mrs. Piggy just happened to be here, and I was like, oh, hey, look, I'm about to put the straps on, have a look at this. And she was like, I don't want them there. I was like, well, that's the way they all get put. Well, they do. And the one picture that Mrs. Piggy saw, there was one here, but not one there. And it looks junk. Whoever does that, I don't know what your problem is, but get some OCD in your life. She wants them square on, like straight, you know? So I'm going to try and make it work. This side I can make it kind of work. They'll be functional, they'll be form, not function, which isn't my kind of thing, but there we go. The only way you can really do it is to strap it on like that and kind of have them, one, upside down, again my OCD is really not happy with that, and two, kind of coming round the bonnet, so they will be form over function. But of course I have all turbo here. Looks stupid right in the middle, two like that, two on the outside, again have an intake right there, it's just there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to mark up these 3 holes. There's not much clearance we need there. I can get the other end of the strap and put a little plate in, get that in there. We're going to see if we can fit it this side. This side got lots of room, ideal. This side not so much, not ideal. So let's see what we do. Let's see what happens. Let's just mark it, drill it, and I just plug weld it if not. What are you going to do, eh? Yeah. Right on the intake. I think if we shorten the bolts right up, that we might just manage it. Remember? Headbutt it in. There we go. Nervously drilling holes in my bonnet. Just an aluminium rigging behind. No worries. So, of course, the many complications of not putting them where I've got lots of space and I'd allowed for lots of space and etc. They do kind of fit on the bonnet okay. We will be sort of flatten this back a little bit, clean this up. I'll give us a bit more clearance. We're going to have to make a little plate extender here. We've made more clearance here for pipe work and some water pumps and stuff. Well, I'll have to make just a little plate just to hold the 3rd bolt. So all we're going to do with the straps is usually they go that way around, but of course they're going to flick round like that. Need softening up, that's for sure. I think you soak them in water or something, can't remember. So we just flick the bosses round, because the boss wants them that way, and we'll put them that way around. The flip front's just forward slightly because I'm drilling holes. So I've done 3 there, I can't do that 3rd one there. Probably wait until get the flip front off for final priming and rubbing back. There is a lot of work to do for Max. Sorry, Max. So let's get these little bolts on, these little nuts. It's going to be a terror to get on, I expect, because of where they are. But I do like animals. I'm not such a great fan of sparrows, though. Well, I'm not anymore. I didn't mind them before moving here. And they've moved into this barn. This Mini just keeps on giving. Come with some great ideas. Just don't think about the consequences. Looks wrong if I don't. Let's make a little plate to go around. It'll look fancy. Always going to be no room behind here. Must fit things before fit loom. Note to self. So we popped the chrome strip on, which we just gave a quick polish. It's sort of patinaed, which is I kind of like. I like the idea of this kind of fresh paintwork and this sort of chrome, which had a bit of life in it so far, and a little bit of life left. So we popped the chrome trim on because it just adds a little bit of radius here to know what we're doing with these. Now they are more function than form, but they kind of got to stay there. So on this side we just opened up the holes on the leather just to stretch it a little bit, just to get it just to fit just nice. It'd be nice to get it through another hoop, and you can sort of pull it through, but because of the way this sort of shape works, it's not designed to do that. It's designed to go across, but Mrs. Piggy didn't want that, so it's there instead. Clearance behind for turbo, maybe. This side there's lots of clearance. I was trying something different here to see if this would work instead, but it's not going to, not without a lot of custom work just for these. So we'll flick these around, do the same thing, open up the holes on the leather, and we should have a pair of straps about ready to go. And then we need to sort out that dent, which you can probably just see, and get these clearances just right. Final welding on the bonnet on this underside here. Get all these panel gaps right, and then we can whip this front end off and just prime it at least. Final finishing, prime it, you know, finish off little bits like that, which don't look very good. Kind of going to get covered, but it's just a place for rust and nasty finish. So we'll get that done. Got our holes in for animal plate, if not already mentioned, and that bottom edge just needs a little bit of fettling with a hammer just to get it straight again. So that's all good, and then we'll prime all this, because this could easily rust between now and, you know, tomorrow, being it's England. So let's go to these shut gaps right again, which they were once upon a time, and they don't seem to be anymore, so we need to get that right. After a lot of faffing and basically on, I've got to admit, today has not been a good day with the Mini or other things. So I couldn't care if they're level, straight, whatever. I couldn't care if there's a billion dents in this vehicle. Couldn't care if it never gets painted at this point. But they're on. So I'm going to walk away from this now before I put a hammer straight through its bonnet. It's kind of the day that's going on right now. They are on. They don't look great, but they're on. So, yeah. Right, so we're going to ignore loads of issues with the bodywork and I'm trying to sort of put stuff away when it's done. So let's get the arches on. We can then drill the holes, move the Rivnuts in, and then we can put the arches away until it's painted. We can store them away. We've just gone for some basic arches, let me show you them. Conveniently they come in black, which is the colour we want. So, hook on somewhere like that, I think. Which will hopefully help me just finish the bodywork wing area. Like this needs to come out a little bit. That needs to pop on like that. Done. Don't need to do anything else. So we've got a screw hole there, and then we're going to have to cut it here for the split, obviously. And we'll try and position that split just right across there. We might have to add a screw from underneath, I think, just to pick up on that. And then I've seen people put a bit of heat on them, but what we can do is just hold it on, make the marks, do the drilling. Let's just get on with it, it's there. Right. Mark, drill, something, something. much width and all that. There we go. That's why I picked this size. I feel that's just the right fitment that we're looking for. Still a bit of camber here, so the bottom will just tuck in a bit more. That's cool. Looks winning. Make a little mark. Make a little mark. Sure, the last one still lines up. Sort of. Now I know a lot of you out there will just stick a self-tapping screw through. I'm not a lot of you. I'm just one of you. And I don't like self-tapping screws. I also don't like rivets because they're only one way. So instead, we're using the old fateful Rivnuts. M4 Rivnuts. Plenty of them, I hope. Just buy a new packet of them. Let's hope there's enough because I've used a bunch of them. No varnish. Dark red's my favourite flavour. That or whatever's in the bin. My wife doesn't like anymore. When it goes off, it has a nice little ping to the smell. Makes you feel good. I'm dead anyway. There she goes. Doesn't take much. The M4, must remember that. You're doing like an M8 stainless, like your blood's busting out your arm. When you're an M4 aluminium, it's like, meh, done. Which is nice. I think stainless M4 button head bolts. Winning. Whew, only took 17 minutes and 20 seconds. There she is. Looking neat. And you notice the wheel is too far forward, we need to adjust that, but ignore that as usual. So we just got some nice little focusing on that. I need to focus. There we go. Just little M4 button heads, but we're poking through a long way, so we'll take a measurement of what we're poking through, take that off, and we'll order 16 of the right size ones because they're pretty tiny little things. Sweet. Right, time lapse. Do the rest. So that's how that looks. What they look like finished without them on is a bit like that. Nice and clean. Aluminium, so they shouldn't rust, with a little bit of the old nail varnish in there to stop the rust getting in. That's very good. We'll probably put a little bit of seam sealer behind this one because it actually kind of goes through behind there. I don't know if you can see that very well. Basically it's exposed at the back, so we'll put a bit of seam seal on that. While we're at it, put the ones on the number plate. And if you're all wondering what I was wondering for a while, what do you do about the fact that it cuts there? You know, this is going to flip up. Do you take the arch off every time? No. You cut it nice and neatly, like that. You've got a screw down there, but this then flaps around. So you neatly pop a little screw in behind that. It's too long at the moment. We've got some 12mm ones coming. These are all too long anyway. And there's a little Rivnut in the flange here. And then we'll just use a couple of washers just to space it the right spot. That's pretty good. It's not perfect, but you've seen the build. You know how this goes. But for now, that's arches. Oh, yeah! On to the next job, everyone. Whatever that might be. Could be the clutch, could be the intake, could be the wiring. One of those is the next episode, probably, maybe.